Hey everyone, it's Andy from Chronically Healthy Life. It's been a pretty exciting year, pretty busy year for us for the last 4.5 years as we, reposition ourselves from the foolish couple to Chronically Healthy Life. And, my question to all of you out there is, are you living a chronically healthy life? The funny thing is, when we first came up with this, this rebrand, a lot of people are saying, oh, Andy, that is really bad idea. People associate chronic with bad things, chronic disease, chronic pain, chronic headaches, chronic failure, chronic failure businesses, chronic financial disasters, right? A lot of people think about chronic as being something really bad. But, being the foolish couple the way we are, I said, yeah, I don't really care what people think. It's really about reframing. One of the things I love to say now, since I learned that from from one of the, brain coaches that is such a good friend of mine, Vince Abramo, one of the better coaches out there on brain reframing. But anyways, I was saying, what if we flip that whole idea on its head? Why do people have to think that chronic is a bad thing? What if you start thinking that chronic is actually a good thing, right? Chronic health, chronic longevity, chronic independence, chronic family relationships. How about a chronic work relationship or chronic business expansion or even explosion, right? Wouldn't that be more exciting than all this doom and go with it? We're foolish. We like doing things that other people think are crazy. And the funny thing is, it's been a crazy 4 years, right? We've been meeting so many new people. Even in our lives, our lives have changed dramatically, from our health to our family, to our finances, to our connection with friends, to family. Everything has become chronically better, right? And, the funny thing is, I ask all of you today, are you living a chronically healthy life, right? What does chronic sound like to you, right? Is it a good thing? Why can't we reframe it to be a good thing? Stop thinking that chronic is a bad thing, right? You got chronic pain. What are you going to do about it? Let's do something chronically healthy to reverse that pain, right? So, like I said, it's been an exciting 4 years. Going for a little walk out here, which is pretty crazy. I don't know how people do it out here in the 90-degree weather. It's like, still got the California, Canadian body chemistry, I guess. I still can't quite handle the hot weather, even been here for 4 years. But anyways, getting some getting some vitamin D from the sun. But yeah, I just wanted to say how crazy the last 4 years is. How crazy this last 1 year is when we went one step further from our chronically healthy life to create the Chronic Health Collective, where we have gathered around the best coaches in different aspects of life, right? I just had a meeting this morning with someone else, and he says, Andy, that is sort of weird that you created a show that has all these different modalities, It's like, I believe in just health. I believe in brain health. I don't want that message diluted. Well, unfortunately, for each one of us, we all have issues throughout our life. It may not necessarily be our health, right? It could be our relationships. It could be our energy. It could be our sleep. It could be our finances. It could be our business. It could be our mindset that's holding us all back, right? So when I created the Chronic Health Collective with Minna, we really went out there and we interviewed so many people over the last 3-4 years for the Chronic Healthy Life, and we handpicked the people we wanted to work with. And in the last weekend, we kicked off our first Chronic Health Collective Masterclass. I hope you guys caught that. It started last Friday, and Saturday, we kicked it off with Candace McKim. She taught you how to manifest $10,000 in 10 days. Like, if you haven't seen that yet, you really have to watch the replay on that, right? And then we had Vince talking about your ants, not the ants that's crawling on the ground, not these red crazy fire ants that I'm highly allergic to in Texas, but your automatic negative thoughts, right? If you don't know what that is, I tell you, that is going to change your perspective in living a chronically healthy life. How you see things in life is very important in all aspects of your life, regardless if it's going to be health, finances, relationships, right? And then we had Amanda. She talked about inner healing, right? I always talk about this. We all have innate healing ability. Our bodies have innate intelligence. And she basically talked on that topic on how our body has innate healing and intelligence to heal itself. That was exciting. That's on day one. We had Nicholas Hosha there sharing everything that is chronic, the bad chronic, of how bad the COVID vaccines have damaged everyone that rode up their arms to get it. Once again, not being judgmental for getting the shot, but so important to make sure that you are not vax injured, right? So if you did not catch that interview of Nicholas Hosher from the Makula Foundation, you definitely need to watch that. We had Janine Williams, our ancestral medicine woman, who's going to be joining us on our next season on the Chronic Health Collective. We had Tammy McMauley. Her energy was through the roof as she shared her experience on what brought her into LifeWave, right? LifeWave, right here. Your body's healing body, your body's healing ability using your mind. It's a powerful interview. If you haven't caught that, right? We had Phyllis McComber, another child education expert, how she's talking about how child education has changed and how she's changing the paradigm at schools, how they can implement her programs, right? We had Jose Bartoza, peace specialist. Oh my God, when Vince was interviewing him, that was really mind-blowing on how that interview went, right? And then we had Chronically Healthy Life and the Chronic Health Collective. We are gathering the best in the world to help you be chronically healthy rather than chronically ill. Anyways, I hope you caught the first couple of weeks. If you haven't, please sign up at chronichealthcollective.com. We're going to have the replays still up for the rest of the week, but once second week starts, the replays are gone. And, the best ways to get all the freebies, you get free consults from all of our coaches, but only if you reach out to them during this masterclass event. But if you buy the all access masterclass for $29.97, you get to rewatch all the videos over and over again, right? Along with the specials we're all giving with our programs, our consulting. So chronichealthcollective.com. Check that out. And, for me, always trying to be an overachiever. Of course, I'm networking with, like I said, the best coaches in the world. And this coming weekend, 2 events, not just the Chronic Health Collective event masterclass, but I'm also going to be on a roundtable discussion on Life on Track Coaching Agency, right? On the 7-figure mindset, right? And where I am going to talk about why it is time for holistic health and time to drop the allopathic health system. It's all crumbling. If you have been following, studies are showing vaccines have did so much damage, not just the COVID vaccines, but all these child vaccines. Studies are coming out, truth is coming out. Learn how holistic healing properties, holistic health, I don't even want to say healing, don't want to get myself in trouble here, but holistic health modalities can help elevate your health to activate your innate intelligence, intelligence inside to heal your body, right? So this weekend, once again, very exciting, Friday, Saturday, Chronic Health Collective Masterclass Day 3, Day 4. And then Saturday and Sunday, I'm going to be part of that roundtable discussion with Life on Track. Don't miss it. You can go to lifeontrackcoaching.com to register for that. Both events are free to watch. And of course, we always offer amazing giveaways or discounts or promotions, whatever you call it nowadays, for those that watch live. All right? Anyways, so excited for what's been going on in the last 4 years, but most importantly, what's been happening in the last week. Goodbye now.